Hello everybody, welcome back to Honeysuckle Homestead Retreat. I know I have been gone for many months now and I do apologize for that. However, I am returning with some unfortunate news. My homestead got robbed. Hi everybody, my name is Desiree. I live and work in Atlanta, but I have a tiny house in the Appalachian Mountains where I'm slowly starting an off-grid farm. I'm a single girl doing most of the work on my own and learning as I go. So come along with me on my journey and I hope it will entertain and maybe also give someone out there a little inspiration. Welcome to Honeysuckle Homestead Retreat. Lots have been going on in my life since I posted my very last video, which I believe was the video talking about how grateful I was for everything that had happened. And I was super thankful for everything coming together, for my dreams coming true. If you missed that video, just click on the link. I don't remember where it pops up, but it pops up somewhere up here. And you can watch that video. Those were happier times. I also have a bit of the sniffles that I've been dealing with for about a few weeks now. So my voice probably sounds a little nasally. I honestly don't have much to report at this very moment. I got a phone call from a deputy from the area that my tiny house is at about 9 o'clock at night, last night, informing me that my house had been broken into, and also my little gray shed that I put together, I was told they ripped off the roof of that and took things out of there as well. It was discovered yesterday evening. My neighbors from across the street will go and check on the property about once a week. And he went to check on it and the door was wide open. The shed had been mutilated. And so he immediately called the police and they came out to make a report. I have just finished up packing up to make the trip to my tiny house, to my homestead. I'm going to be leaving tomorrow. And I'm also taking a U-Haul truck. I'm going to load up whatever is left as far as my property is concerned, like my items that I had inside the tiny house, whatever they didn't take. And I also had some items in my barn, so I'm going to load up that as well. That barn is not exactly well secured, so I was told that it was not touched. The barn is actually visible from the road. My tiny house is not. The crazy thing is, a lot has happened since I was last on YouTube. I actually did get my fence put up and I was planning on making a video about that, and I probably still will. My family came out to visit my tiny house. I was planning on doing a video on that as well. Aside from the robbery, what's been going on in my life is just having to work a lot. I don't know if you guys are feeling it, but at least for me personally, the money kind of dried up a little bit past couple months. And so I've honestly been struggling a little bit financially. Not a huge amount, not to where I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't pay my bills. But struggling in the sense of I'm having to work more hours than I'm used to working to make up for it. I am the kind of person that if something isn't going my way, well, I work harder. I work more hours. I pick up another job. I do whatever it takes to make it happen. So I have been working more hours. And in addition to that, some things have been going on in my personal life as well. Good things, nothing bad. I don't know if I want to relay what that is quite yet on YouTube, but at some point I probably will, but we'll leave that for a later episode in happier times. My mind right now is kind of it's in a bit of a rut with everything that's happened. And this is very much of an impromptu video. I'm literally just holding my phone up. I haven't really set anything up. I wasn't planning on doing a video. I felt like under the circumstances that I should do a video and I should inform you guys of what has happened and what is going on. I don't really know what to say. I don't know if any of you have ever been robbed before, in the sense of just, you know, general break-in. Thankfully, I wasn't there. I guess thankfully. I feel like if I had been there, it wouldn't have happened. I truly believe that if I were living on the property, then what happened, the way it happened, wouldn't have happened. They may have tried to have stolen something outside, but I don't think that they would have broken into the house if they knew someone was actually there. I am armed when I'm there, so I do have personal protection, and I definitely will be armed tomorrow when I'm there. I'm not going alone. Someone is going with me, and I am going to be stopping by the police department first and having a deputy go with me initially to enter into the property. A police report was filed by my neighbor, but I have to go through the house and figure out what exactly was stolen and have it itemized. I do thankfully have insurance on the contents of my home. I am under the impression that my DeWalt miter saw was stolen and that my EcoFlow Pro very expensive electric generator was also probably taken. But the thing is that my neighbors and certainly the deputy didn't know what I had in the home, so they can't really say what was and what wasn't taken. It's my understanding that they somehow jimmied the lock to get into the house. I did deadbolt it, but for some reason both my neighbor and the deputy acted like there was no deadbolt, so I'm really confused by that. Like I said, I haven't been there, so I don't know. The other thing I hate is now I'm missing work because of this debacle, which kind of stinks because, as I said earlier, I've been struggling a bit financially and I've been having to work more hours to make up for it. So yeah, I'm not happy about that, that I'm missing work for this and that I'm spending money to rent a U-Haul truck so that I can load up all my stuff and take it to my parents' house. On the other hand, I feel better now that I've reserved the truck. I have a plan. I'm gonna go to the property. I'm gonna assess the situation. I'm gonna see exactly what's happened, and whatever is left, I'm gonna load up into the truck and it's gonna be safe. That makes me feel better somehow. A lot of things have been going through my mind about what I should do, what I shouldn't do, how to fix this, how to protect the property. Both my neighbors and the deputy made a comment that there is a good chance that the people will come back. There's definitely items in there that they could steal if they gave it enough effort. Like, for example, my wood stove is of value. It's not impossible to take out. That's something that could go missing. My on-demand water heater could be ripped off the wall. You know, I mean, there's so many things that could happen. I have yet to cry throughout this whole process. And I probably should. I probably need to just let it out, and I will at some point. I don't know if it's gonna happen right now. Really, the plan is just to go up there, see what happened, and load up the U-Haul, and then leave the next morning. Bring my stuff to my parents. You know, I know that this stuff happens. And I know, and I always knew it could happen to me. You know, it's not like it's impossible. And I don't want to be a victim, if that makes any sense. I want to like somehow take control of the situation so that I'm not a victim. And I don't want to be like, oh, feel sorry for me. I really don't. Because I know I'm not the only one in the world that has had something stolen from them or that's felt violated by someone entering their home. I know I'm not the only one. I just, I don't know how to put into words how it makes me feel. My little homestead that I was building was like my safe haven. And as my mom put it, I don't feel safe there anymore. I knew my immediate neighbors, but there's some neighbors down in the holler, as they say, that I don't know. I don't know them. I don't know anything about them. I don't know who did this, and I can't say that I do. I don't know. I'm gonna put up cameras. I'm clearing out the place, so there's not gonna be anything for them to steal. The only thing I'm worried about now is that they might just vandalize the place. I don't want anyone doing anything to it. I don't want anyone deciding they're gonna burn it down or whatever. I don't want them to spray paint it. I don't know what they're capable of. I was told they didn't break any windows. So they could have very easily broken a window to get into the house, but instead they figured out a way to jimmy the lock, I guess. So I'm grateful that they didn't somehow destroy anything like that. I don't know if they messed anything up in the home. By the way, I had just, oh man, there's so many things that I had done inside the tiny house that I hadn't even shown you guys yet, that I was like making videos on, or was getting around to making videos on. And I still will, and I still will show those videos to you guys. Now's not the time, but you will see parts of it, because I'm gonna show you me going inside the tiny house. I'm gonna show you everything that I see. But right now, you and I are in the same boat. I don't know what I'm walking into. I have no idea what to expect. And my mind has been racing. I didn't get any sleep last night. I don't know that I'll get much sleep tonight. I'd hate to say that this whole thing derailed my dreams, because it's a break-in, you know? But I think for me, what it is it's like, my place was kind of hidden before, and I think that was part of my protection in a way. But now it's not. Now the fact that it is hidden and it's been discovered, the fact that it's hidden is actually part of its demise, because those people can do whatever they want, and nobody can see them, because it's all covered up. It's in the woods basically, and nobody can see them. These are people that were wandering around and came across my property and saw that there was a house there, that they're like, oh, we didn't know this was here. And they saw no one was home, and they saw that it was all locked up, and they figured they'd strike in the middle of the night. Hey everybody, on the way to the Homestead now to assess the damage. Still have to pick up the U-Haul truck once we arrive closer to the destination, and also have to stop by the police department and have someone go with us, hopefully, to the property. Just as a precaution, in case they have returned and are still there, or whatever the situation is, which in some aspects, it would kind of be nice if we brought the cop there and the people were there. It would be kind of nice, because then they would just get arrested. I mean, they would be caught red-handed. But on the other hand, I don't want anyone to be there, and I just want to get my stuff out and leave. As for the future of the homestead and the tiny house and everything, that is all still left to be determined what happens next. I have some ideas, but I'm not ready to discuss those ideas yet, because I haven't made any firm decisions. So that's where I'm at. I did not get any sleep last night. I slept maybe 3.5, 4 hours. One, I'm not used to going to bed earlier, because I work night shifts, and I'm used to going to bed at 4 o'clock anyway, 4 o'clock in the morning. So I had to get up early this morning to make this trip, to load up my car with stuff, and also well, I had to load up my car with stuff because I've got cameras that I'm going to be putting out on my tiny house, but I had to bring tools with me, and I had to go buy some more tools because I don't know what was left at the tiny house. I don't know if if any of my tools are left. I have no idea. So I'm just going there with the assumption that my items are gone, and I don't really know what I'm salvaging at this point. But thankfully, my neighbor did mention that it appears that the shed, the horse barn, was not affected, which is great. So I had a lot more stuff in it, some of which had sentimental value. So I hope he's right about that. I hope that it wasn't touched, and everything that's in there is gonna go. It's going. It's gone. I know things would be different if I lived there. I just know it would be. Now, granted, people that live in the area have had things stolen from them. It's not like it doesn't happen. But it's not to this degree. It's rare for there to be a break-in, burglary type situation there. Imagine, because most people have guns and they know that. I'm assuming. But I know that this break-in happened because they knew no one was home and they knew no one was coming. The assumption is that it was done in the middle of the night. So we got in pretty late that night, and we had to wait about an hour for cops to escort us to the property. But they did. They came and they checked out the place first and confirmed that no one was in the home and that it was safe to enter. So we went inside, and this is what we came home to, was a mess. They had totally ransacked the place. They went up through my storage loft and took everything out of the storage loft, opened up a bunch of boxes, and I'm sure they were probably a little bit disappointed about what was in the loft, because I had mostly freeze-dried food up there, like long-term storage food, and that was the majority of what was in my storage loft. Now, what they didn't get was my outdoor shed, what I call my horse run-in shed. I had items stored in here that they did not find, and I was really grateful for that because this shed is super easy to break into. I had it locked, but the door is really just a suggestion. So that night, we actually went ahead and started loading up stuff into the U-Haul from that shed. We waited until the next day to assess all the damage at the tiny house, just because we wanted some sunlight and we wanted to be able to see better. So they did most of the damage to my outdoor shed that I had out front here. And they basically ripped the roof off and then the doors off, and that's how they got inside. I did have it locked with a little padlock. The lock was completely untouched, actually. But as you can see, they totally did a number on the shed, and they took a lot of my tools out of here, although they did leave some. This shed also had 2 hornets' nests inside of it, and I'm really hoping the hornets got these guys. So they took one of my solar lights and wrapped a cord around it and hung it up so that they could see inside the shed at night. So this was definitely done at night. And as you can see, here is where they used the knife to try to get in that way first, and they were unsuccessful of going that way. And they even left behind some bugles. So, yeah. They didn't take anything out of the steps. This is all, hidden. They had no idea that all this stuff was in here. Because if they had known, they definitely would have taken that drill. Because they took all my other tools. This first. So I decided to take pretty much everything out of the tiny house so that the house looks as empty as possible. And hopefully they won't want to go back inside because they'll see that there's nothing left. That was my thought process while I was doing all of this. And I'm hoping that it works. Thankfully, the bedroom loft was completely untouched. They didn't go up there at all. If they had, they would have seen my laptop and taken it, but they did not. So I was super grateful for that. However, they did take my RV water pump, so we didn't have any water this time. And this is how everything looks, all wrapped up. We covered up that shed and left a few items in there. And this is what the house looks like currently. So as I said, I wanted to take everything out. I wanted it to look as barren as possible. And hopefully when they return, they'll see that there's nothing in there. I left all of the curtains open so that they are free to look inside and see that there's nothing left. I wanted to discourage them coming inside as much as possible. So hopefully that works. I also put up this notice that this area is under 24-hour video surveillance now. So hopefully that will help deter them as well. Okay, so I am back in Atlanta now. It's been a little over a week. It's been almost 2 weeks actually since the actual break-in, but it's been a little over a week since I went up there to get my things. I am feeling a lot better now that I got everything loaded up, everything that was left behind, and it's at my parents'. So I do feel so much better knowing that the property is empty and there's really nothing more for them to take. Now, will they vandalize the house? I don't think so. My neighbors also don't think so. Whoever it was had to be really skinny. Apparently they came through the field, across the creek, at my neighbors, and then into my back pasture where there's no fence, no gate or anything. Not that that would have stopped them anyway. And then they came up to the tiny house and they hopped over my doggy run fence because it was bent. So they came over that and then they pushed the plastic cover that I had on my doggy door. They pushed it in and came in through the doggy door. That's what it looks like to me. Now, everyone else thought that they had jimmied the door open somehow, but this makes a lot more sense. Also, why would that cover be off the doggy door? I don't know why they would take it off. So that's what I came up with. The house itself looks great. So I am grateful for that. All in all, it could have been so much worse than it was. And I'm kind of glad that they were able to let themselves in because I know that they were capable of totally destroying things because they did that at my little gray shed out front. I'm grateful that no windows were broken, that the door wasn't pushed, kicked through or whatever. On that side of things, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for a lot of things. I'm grateful that maybe I'm grateful that I wasn't there, because who knows what would have happened. I don't know. So it's nice to know that I'm safe. My dogs are safe. Everybody's safe. The things that were taken can be replaced. They were mostly tools. They were just things. With all that said, I am feeling a lot better about things. I will do another video showing all the surveillance that I put up and my new internet because they cut my internet lines. Now, people have asked me, did you have cameras up? And no, I didn't. And one of the reasons was I was just slacking. It's one of those things where you're like, I'm gonna do it, and then you just never do it. So that was one of the reasons I didn't have any cameras up. The other reason is my internet is spotty there. It, for some reason, doesn't work consistently, and I've always had trouble with it. I felt like even if I did put cameras up, there's a good chance I wouldn't be able to see anything. The other reason I didn't have trail cameras up is because I get no cell phone service out there. So it doesn't matter if it's Verizon, AT&T, whoever, because I've had other people out there and nobody has cell service. So I figured that a trail cam wouldn't either, but I'm gonna try it. I ended up buying a trail cam. I'm gonna install it and see how it does. I haven't tried it yet. We'll see about that, but those are the reasons why I didn't have any cameras up. And I hate that I didn't. But at the same time, the cameras that I would have put up would have been connected to the internet and I would have missed it all. Anyway, that's it. That's the whole thing. That's everything that happened. I was very, very disheveled before, and now I'm feeling a lot better. I'm getting back into the groove of my routine of life, and I'm coming up with game plans on how to prevent this in the future. So stay tuned for future videos to see all the surveillance that I installed. I am sorry that my video comeback was not on good terms, but I had to get this video out to you guys. And I do apologize for not getting other videos out. I have a bunch that I need to edit. I mean, lucky you got a sneak peek of some things that I did to the tiny house. So it does look a little different than it did from like my oldest video that I did. I will show those videos of like stuff that I did to the house and the improvements that I've done thus far. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Labor Day weekend. I hope everybody has a very happy and safe weekend. And yeah, if you go out of town, make sure your house is protected. I will see you guys next time.